Welcome everybody. I'm Stacy.
And I'm my daughter Mickey.
And welcome to KiddieNomics! Yay! Another fun Friday with KiddieNomics, Kids Financial Literacy. We are super happy about today's guest because we are going to be talking all about financial planning. So remember I said this is Financial Literacy Month for the month of November for Canada. Yay! So we are going to be wrapping up Financial Literacy Month with financial planning. Doesn't that make sense? All right. But before we get started with our super special guest, Mr. Michael, I'm just going to get into our housekeeping items. So hang on and let me share my screen. Sorry, I was working on a few things today. Okay, all right, so welcome to KiddieNomics, everybody. Like I said, I'm Stacy, and I'd first like to welcome all of the new kiddies that have joined today, that have recently registered. Thank you so much for joining the KiddieNomics community. And of course, we'd like to always thank the returning kiddies that have been here week after week. Thank you so much for returning back to KiddieNomics, right, for another fun-filled Friday of financial literacy. So just some housekeeping items. If you are new to KiddieNomics, I'm sure a bunch of the kids will say hi to you in the chat box. So just to let you know, in the chat box, actually, you know what? Let me define what KiddieNomics is first, and then we'll get into the housekeeping items, right? Okay, so KiddieNomics will help kids ages 8+ to develop a healthy relationship towards financial literacy, helping to start kids off on the right path to have a successful financial future. That's what we want for you. That's what I want for her. That's what we want for all the kiddies around the world, right? We want you guys to make sure no matter what happens, you guys have a successful financial future in whatever it is that you choose to be and do as you get older. So let me go back to the housekeeping items now again. Just to remind everybody that for the kiddies on, there is no audio and video to communicate with us, right? So in order to communicate, you must communicate through the chat box down below, or maybe it's up top. I always say down below, but for me, my chat box is up top. So if it's up top or down below, but that's where you communicate with us. So if you do have a question, which we will ask questions, but if you want to answer a question or ask a question, please type it into the chat box. Now, sometimes the kiddies like to raise their hands. If you do raise your hand, please type the question into the chat box once you raise your hand so that I can get the question answered, okay? Don't worry, I will get the questions answered as we go along. So if you see that I haven't answered it in a while, retype it again, and then I will make sure that it's top of mind and I'll get that question answered for you, okay? Now, we always like to maintain a safe environment, a safe community here on KiddieNomics. So please remember we had that, that webinar with Miss Hadriana Leo, and we talked about online money smarts, right? So remember that we have to keep all of our personal information private. So please do not share any personal information, not how old you are, not where you live, none of your contact information. It is never to be shared in the chat box on KiddieNomics, okay? All righty. And also please remember that every single KiddieNomics webinar is recorded, and then we post it to our KiddieNomics YouTube channel. So this webinar is being recorded, and I will post it by 8 p.m. tonight. You'll be able to watch it back on our KiddieNomics YouTube channel, along with any of our past videos on KiddieNomics, right? So every single webinar is posted on our KiddieNomics YouTube channel. So if you felt like you've missed something, or you didn't hear it right, or maybe you felt like we didn't answer one of your questions and maybe it was answered earlier, please watch back the video, and of course you'll get all the information there, okay? All right, so let's welcome our special guest today. Let's introduce him, Mr. Michael Thorpe of Blackwell Financial. Michael is the founder and president of Blackwell Financial, a holistic advisory firm that helps clients change their relationship with money, right? This is awesome. He is passionate about paying it forward and helping young people make meaningful connections with professionals and think strategically about their future career paths. Michael has served as the VP External for the Canadian. Oh, Michael, I cut you off. Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
What was it, Michael? The Canadian what?
The Canadian Association of Urban Financial Professionals. It was an association for Black financial professionals within the GTA, basically help give them a voice, a forum to help network with each other, meet new people, and hear from some of the top names in the industry on their journey through the financial industry, and just also how they can also mirror that and they can find their own path to success.
Sounds awesome. I was a part of COF too, so
Nice.
it's an amazing organization. Loved it. Okay, so Mr. Michael's already spoken, so let's give a big KiddieNomics welcome to Mr. Michael. He's going to be talking to us about financial planning today. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, Mr. Michael, and there you are. Hi.
Hello.
Let me just see if any of the kiddies had any questions in the chat. I think they're just welcoming everybody. Yeah, they're just saying hi to everybody. Okay, there we go. Go ahead, Mr. Michael. Thank you so much.
All right, no worries. Let me just get my presentation. Start at the beginning. Okay. And share screen. Right, I'm assuming everyone can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay.
Can. Perfect.
Awesome. So yeah, so today we're going to be covering financial planning for kids. I've been a financial advisor for a while now, and it's something I'm definitely passionate about and really wanting to make sure that people know more about how they can manage their money to be able to set themselves up and their future family, if they do have a family, going forward. So today, I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about who I am. So my name is Michael, and before as a financial advisor, I helped to plan cities, and now I help plan finances. After getting my master's in urban planning, I spent 4 years as an urban planner, and as an urban planner, if somebody needed to build a home or build an office building or change, maybe add some stories or add some height or put another building on their property, they'd have to hire someone like myself to make sure that what they want to do and what the city or the municipality allows, they sync together. So I did that for a number of years, but eventually I decided I wanted to become an entrepreneur. So I wanted to find something that helped me to connect with people and something that I was passionate about, and finance is something that I always wanted to get into. And so I've been doing that for a number of years, for 5 years. And now I have my own business called Blackwell Financial, which Stacey introduced. And I'm also a soldier in the Canadian Armed Forces. So I spent 13 years in the Army. And you can see in my picture to the left, that's my uniform or my formal uniform. And that's been actually a really good experience for me. Definitely has helped me to be more confident in myself. Definitely allowed me to have a lot of great experiences so far. And it's been a really good opportunity for me. In the talk, you'll see that I'm also a professional limbo dancer in my part-time. I do like to have fun, and that was actually one of the barbecues for the financial association that I was a part of. But some of you probably have heard about financial advising or financial planning, but maybe some of you don't know, and just wanted to give you a quick breakdown of what that is. So as a financial advisor, I do really a couple of main things. One of the big things that I do is budgeting, right? Or otherwise helping you use your money wisely. Just because you have money doesn't mean that you're always going to have it or you're going to have enough to do what you need to do. And so that's why I wanted to make sure that's one of the main things that I do for my clients. Koi, I see that you raised your hand. Is there a question that I can answer? I'm not. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, sometimes they hit it by accident. So
okay,
Koi's good. He'll usually type it in the, hi, Maddie. Can you type your question in the chat box?
okay, just let me know. All right. Another thing I do as a financial advisor is saving for education. Some of you may have heard of a registered education savings plan, or RESP. So I help parents help set the children up for the future, whether so it means putting some money away, letting it invest, so that when it's ready for the kids, if they choose to go to college or university, that they have some money that would help pay for the cost of those things. Other things that I do for my clients or if individuals is helping them save up for maybe for a home, if they want to become a homeowner or any other major purchase. It could be a car, it could be buying an investment property, or maybe even taking care of your parents as they get older. Sometimes they need help and they took care of us. And now sometimes we get to pay it forward and help them out when they get to a certain age. And ultimately planning for a family. Not everyone's going to have kids. Maybe not everyone's going to have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a partner or a husband or wife. But if that is something that you want to do, then helping to make sure that I can help both people involved plan the finances together so that they can have the life and the comfort level that they want to have. And okay, there's a question. Yes, Stacy.
So Maddie would like to know, did you help plan city events?
I did not help plan city events, so that was not quite what I would do. But let's say the Toronto Raptors wanted to build a new gym or recreation center, then they would have to get approval to do that. And they'd hire somebody like myself to say, okay, like this is what we want to do. Can you make sure you review our plan to make sure that it meets all the standards that the city wants? Or if the city's like, well, you want to build 4 stories, but we only want to allow 3 stories, well, then I have to go back and negotiate and try and convince the city that this is a good idea for them to approve if it's not standard already. Does that answer your question? Hopefully it does. Are there any other questions?
So since you mentioned Raptors, Joshua wants to know, you can work with he said, cool, you can work with the Raptors.
As a financial planner or advisor, yeah, I can work with the Raptors. If you know a Toronto Raptor and you want to put them in contact with me, I would love to talk with them for sure. And that kind of talks a little bit about kind of why I chose to become a financial advisor. Like this is not just someone hires me and I work with them and then it's over. Like it's really about relationships for me. And as you can see on the screen, like I really wanted to help people help themselves. At the end of the day, it's not my money, right? And I'm not the one benefiting from your choices. You are the one benefiting from your choices and it's your money. So I want to make sure that people can gain more knowledge on how to use the money wisely and how to plan effectively for the future. And some of the big things I value as a financial advisor is building relationships. So being able to get to know people, growing up with them, getting to know their families, and really helping to be part of the process from start to finish. I definitely want to help strengthen the community. And one way that I try to build the community is financially and building financial knowledge and helping people do more with their money. And ultimately, and as many of you here are on the webinar with us, making sure that we can have a better life for the next generation, which is you, right? Making sure that those who do have kids or they have nieces and nephews or cousins, that things are a little bit better for them than they were for us. And so if I can do what I can to help impart knowledge so that people can make better choices, so that they have more to give to the next generation, right? Whether that's family members or in the broader community, then I'll feel good about what I've done as a financial advisor. And in the picture here, you can see that it's really not just about you, at least in my opinion. It's not about you. It's about your spouse. It's about your children. It's about your grandchildren. Like it goes on and on and on, right? And kind of just trying to make sure that people keep that in mind when they're planning for the future. Okay, so we've been talking a little bit about it so far. So what exactly is a financial plan? I found this really good definition that says a financial plan looks at where you are today and where you want to go in the future. It defines your short-term and long-term financial goals and how you can reach them. And that is really the simplest way to describe what a financial plan is. Where are you now? Where do you want to be? And how can we get you there, right? So how does a financial plan work? Some of you may have heard the phrase that money makes the world go round. Well, in my world, goals make the world go round, right? And when I meet with a client, with a household or an individual, one of the first things I ask them is, what do you want to do in the short term, in the next couple of months, maybe 1 to 3 years? What do you want to do in the intermediate or medium term, so 3 to 5 years? And what do you want to do long term, 5, 10 years plus? You know, if I was 8 or 13, I'd be thinking about getting maybe into middle school. Or if I'm middle school, I'm thinking about high school. If I'm in high school, I'm thinking about maybe getting a job, maybe going into school if I want to do that, or getting into a trade. If I'm going to university, maybe I'm thinking about going to get a master's degree. Maybe I'm thinking about my first job, or having a family, or buying a car, or moving out on my own, right? And so those are all things that we want to do. And then I would sit down with you. I would write down all of these things and would say, okay, this is what you want to do, this, and this. How can we use what you currently have to get you there? And how long is it going to get you there? There's another question. Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Michael, you sound really fuzzy. I don't know if it's just maybe me, but you sound like you're underwater.
Okay.
Like it's fuzzy.
Like electrical.
Yes.
Does it still sound like that?
Yes. It sounds like you're gurgling. It's weird. Yes.
Okay.
So, yes.
So I have another Bluetooth headset. I can try that. If not, I'll just use the microphone on my laptop.
So does anybody else, can everybody else hear Mr. Michael okay? Can you just put a yes or no in the chat box for me, please? Koi says no.
Okay. I will try one other Bluetooth, and if not, then I'll just use my laptop. One moment.
Yes, it sounds like his voice is vibrating. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Let's hang on for Mr. Michael. And then, Maddie, I'll get your question answered.
Sorry about that, guys. Let me just see if I can get this going.
Much better.
This is using my laptop, but then I might pick up noises in the background. So how about this? Can you hear me? Okay.
Oh, no, now you're cutting out.
Can I always hear the sound?
So hopefully let's back. Does anybody need me to repeat it?
Can you talk again? Just because I can't, oh, we can't hear you. It stopped. Can't hear you.
Ooh.
Can you hear me now?
Keep talking, I think.
I can hear you guys too now, so okay, good. Okay. So other than your immediate goals, well, what kind of life do you want to have for yourself, or if you have a family, for your family as well? Those are important because really at the end of the day, what are you doing all this for? Why are you going to work? Why are you earning money? What are you planning for? And ultimately, how do you want to take care of the next generation? Your parents are investing in you by having you be part of KiddieNomics and learning about finance, right? And then thinking about what would you do to make sure that the next generation knows a little bit more than you do. They're a little bit further ahead than you are. Ooh, let me go back and make a full screen. Yes.
Yeah. Maddie would like to know, so you are like an agent, but like a planning agent, she wants to know.
Yes, kind of. More like an agent plus, like an agent. And for some people can be very transactional. So you give me money, I give you something. Great, see you next time. I really consider myself more of an advisor, like someone more like a relationship agent, if you will, because it's not just about exchanging goods or services. It's really about the type of relationship that I have. A lot of my clients, when they want to work with me, they're now coming to me like, hey, Michael, I'm thinking about getting married. I want to spend this much on a ring, or I want to have another kid, or my first kid, or I'm thinking about buying a home and I want to live on my own, or whatever the case may be. And so like I'm able to now give them advice because all those things cost money and I'm able to give them advice. So it's really about the relationship more so than just being available to answer certain financial questions or do certain things financially. All right, any other questions?
Maddie
Yes.
would like to know, so you plan so do you plan personal events?
I know financial planning, you think that event planning is definitely a thing, but there's also financial planning. If I plan an event, it'd be maybe more of a webinar like KiddieNomics, where I talk about different topics about finance. So I'd plan events in that sense, but if you have a birthday or a wedding or trying to plan a concert, I'm not the guy. That's not me. All right. So, okay, cool. I'll move on. So what actually goes into a financial plan? Now that we know that a financial plan is about, helping you get from one place to another using your short-term and long-term goals, and it's really centered around goals, what else goes into a financial plan? So we need financial information. We need to know how much money are you making and how much money are you spending on a monthly basis. We need to know how much money do you have? What do you have in the bank? If you have any investments, how are your investments performing? If you put in $10 and or $100 or $1,000 and it grew to $1,500, that's really good, right? And so how well are they performing? Can we maybe find something that earns you more money, or maybe your money grows faster? We also need to know how much money you make, right? Whether you're getting paid by the hour or you get an annual salary, because that will tell me if you have X amount of dollars left over after all your expenses, then this is extra money. And what can we do with that extra money? And how much can you save per month? What can we spend it on, etc. Really, another one of the key ingredients of a financial plan is two-way communication. Just because I talk to you today doesn't mean, and I give you advice today, doesn't mean that advice will be good for you a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It's really important to make sure that you tell me, as your life changes, I need to go back and modify the plan that we put in place for you. Or if something happens with, say, the investment markets, or there's some new change or a new law or regulation, then I need to go back and let you know so that you can make decisions. Okay, well, taxes are going up or taxes are going down, or maybe I can get a more affordable mortgage, which means that I can save money every month, right? Or maybe the minimum wage is going up depending on where you are in life. So these are the kind of things where I need to be proactive in talking to my clients, but they also need to be active in talking to me. And one of the very key things, last but not least, is commitment, right? If you're going to meet with me, we're going to talk, we're going to go through all of your different documents and your situations and your goals, and we put a plan together. We actually have to get you to do it. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about that before, but if you're actually going to put a financial plan in place, you definitely want to make sure that you see it through. And maybe some things change, that's completely fine, but at least always go back and change the plan so you have something to help you make good decisions in the future. Any questions?
No, Joshua had one, but Joshua, can you retype your question again for me? Unless you're saying, I think Joshua wants to know, can a person hack your financial plan so that the person could get your money, could get access to your money? Joshua, is that what you're asking? I'm not entirely sure. So can you retype it? Or is that what you're saying? Can somebody get access to your financial plan and then know where your money is? Is that what you're trying to say? Okay. So that's what Joshua wants to know. If somebody got a hold of your financial plan, would they have access to your money?
Nope. Because at this point, I don't have anything. Like, all we've talked about is what you want to do, right? But we actually haven't done it. So like, a financial plan is not the same as a bank. A financial plan is not the same as a bank account. It is not an investment. It talks about the bank, or it talks about your bank account. It talks about your investment accounts, but it doesn't actually have any of those things. So let's say someone somehow was able to see the document that is your financial plan. All it would tell them is what you want to do. It wouldn't tell them what your account number is. It wouldn't tell them how to access your money. They wouldn't be able to take that money from you. So your information would be, they'd be able to know your information maybe, but they wouldn't be able to actually affect your money. Okay? Awesome. So here are just some examples of some of the ingredients that go into a financial plan. So we have here a monthly budget. So to give you an example of what a budget would look like, right? We have the mortgage or rent, right? That costs a certain amount of money. You have to pay maintenance sometimes. You have to pay water bills, you have to pay for gas if you have a car, or transit if you take that. If you have life insurance, if you have children, you'd pay for childcare, auto insurance, and various things. So we added up all of these things and they came up to total expenses. Then we take a look at the money. So this is an example of two of my clients. It's a husband and a wife, and they have 3 kids. So this is how much money they're making altogether, and this is how much they're spending on the family altogether, right? And we went through and we now identified how much money do they have left over, just under $3,000 a month. And then what do they want to do with that? Do they want to put into RASPs? Do they want to add more money for themselves? Maybe they have aging parents. Maybe they want to get a new car. Maybe they want to have a new child. Maybe they want to get a new house. But knowing how much extra money they have, so we didn't know all of this before we went through the budget. But after doing the budget, now we know how much money they have, and now we can begin to make accurate plans to determine what they can do with that money. Yeah.
So can the kids tell me, looking at this budget, how much monthly income does this family make? Can type it in the chat box. Can you tell me?
9 million.
It's in the budget. You're not looking
Oh.
at the budget.
Oh, the budget, the budget.
Good job. Let me see here.
How-
Nicole says 9,000. Egypt, 9,000.
Yeah.
Thomas, 9,000. Thomas, can you please have your mom send me an email so I can mail you out your prize? Elias says 9,000.
9,000.
Coy says 9,000. Mickey says 9,000. She's late to the party.
No, I'm not.
Denise says 9,000. Adonis, 9,000. Good job. So if they make $9,000 a month, how much is their total expenses? Type it in the chat box.
9,000 times 12.
9,000 times 12. I said, how much is their monthly expenses?
That's another line.
Good
1
job.
million.
Oh, you're not reading the line.
Oh,
6,200. Renata, 6,200. Good job.
6,200.
Nicole, yeah, you just missed the 2 there, Nicole. It's all good, but I know that you mean $6,227. So as you can see, Egypt, their expenses is 62,000. Oh my goodness, they'll be in the hole like a lot every month. Adonis, you say the same thing, 62,000. I know you guys just missed a comma. I know. So if their monthly income is $9,000, which sounds like a lot of money, but look at their expenses. Their expenses is $6,227. So what does that mean? How much money do they have left over every month? Type that into the chat box, please.
What was the question?
That's okay, Maddie. You can join in now. From their $9,000 they make a month, and their total expenses is $6,227. How much money do they have left over?
3,000.
Denise has it. Egypt, Adonis, Maddie.
Adonis, yeah. Egypt has it. Maddie has it. Good job, Maddie. See, you weren't late to the party. Joshua is wondering. Coy has it. Coy, $2,773.
Yes.
Good job. So you can see that your income looks like it's a lot, but then your expenses match that too, right? Remember we had a budgeting one with Miss April like a few months ago, and we talked about that. So you can make a lot of money, but if you have a lot of expenses, it doesn't leave you with a lot of money left over necessarily, right?
No.
So what is their yearly surplus from all of the money that they make minus all of their expenses? How much money do they have left over for the entire year? Good job, Egypt. $33,276. Good. I want to make sure you guys are reading this budget.
Oh, it's right.
Good job. Yes.
Oh.
So
Mickey just realized the numbers are on the budget.
Okay, Mickey. Just one thing to point out is that these are 2 older adults. They're in their early 40s. So they've been working for a while, right? Like not everyone's going to be able to make this much money. But definitely they put the time in, they've worked hard and they've gotten to this point. But again, they have 3 kids. So there's definitely going to be some expenses with that for sure. And actually we'll go back a slide and I forgot to ask this though. But I wanted to ask the kids in the chat, what are some goals that you guys have right now? And doesn't matter what they are, just give me 1 or 2 goals that you have, one short-term goal, something that you want to do in the next 1 to 3 years, and then a long-term goal, something 3 years and beyond.
Make it to the basketball team. And be
Let's see what people put down. Okay, somebody wants to be rich. That's a very good role. That was definitely one of my goals as well. Okay.
Yes. So let's see. Nicole says to save money. DJ says to be the orders. What does that mean? DJ, can you rewrite your answer? Let me understand that one. Denise says save money. Egypt says my short-term goal is to redo my room and my long-term goal is to become a movie director. What? I love that, Egypt.
Okay.
You have both short-term and long-term. That's awesome. Alyssa says to be a doctor. That's awesome. That's what Mickey wants to be. She wants to be a doctor. Yay.
And make it to the basketball team.
And make it and play in the WNBA. And Joshua says to make more money so I can give it to the poor. You're so sweet. That is amazing. That's a cool goal. Let me see. What else did the kitty say? Oh, Elias wants to be a professional soccer player. Yes, I remember you saying that, right? That's so cool. Denise said yes, I want to be rich, to be rich. Well, you picked the right place, right, Egypt? Sorry, it wasn't Egypt. I apologize, Denise, because learning about financial literacy is going to help you get there. Okay, and Nicholas says, I want to redecorate my room, and then for the long term, I want to be a pediatrician. Oh, that's so awesome.
Nice.
Says, I want to do community. Oh, she wants to serve her community. That's so nice. Look at all these caring kids. Koi wants to be in the NBA. Yay, Koi.
I spoke to some teenagers last year. One of my friends has a financial literacy and basketball training camp in Etobicoke. And so I went there and I talked to them about having a career, and it's really interesting to see the combination of, like, just because, especially when you become a doctor or a pediatrician, you're not just making a living, you're earning a lot of money. And so those are definitely people that need to know what to do with their money, especially if you have a lot of extra money left over. And so they definitely needed some help with that as well. I see DJ wants to be an artist or professional soccer player. And so these are the types of conversations that we would have. You want to be rich. Well, then how are we going to help you to be rich? How much money are you making? And what are we going to do with that money? If you want to become a doctor, you're going to have to go through school. You're going to have to pay for school. Doctors, if they own their own clinic, have a lot of expenses. So they make a lot of money, but they have to spend a lot of money. They have to hire people. They have to pay those people. You have to pay rent on the building you own. If you wanted to be a designer, you're going to have to buy materials. You're going to have to actually use things to build and practice and get better. Who else? MBA. If you want to go into the MBA, you usually have to go to an American school. American schools that are topping the MBA cost a lot of money for tuition. So you have to have something there. So these are all things that they bring some sort of personal satisfaction, or they help you achieve a goal, but there's also a financial or a money component to it where I could help. And I can help you plan if you want to get there in the future, right? For some of you, this might be another 12 years, 15 years, 20 years down the road, but it's good that you can start now to begin to plan for these things. Awesome. When I was your age, between 8 to 13, I wanted to be a firefighter. I wanted to be Batman. I wanted to do a couple of things. When I got older, I eventually wanted to work with computers because my older sister worked in computers. And then I eventually began to be in the career that I am in now. So the goals that I had when I was younger, they changed over time. And I had to change my plans to achieve my goals because those are changing. And again, that's something that, you can do on your own. You can do that with your parents, you can do that with your friends. But if there's a big money component, then you may want to talk to a financial advisor about that. So let's
I
go
love
back.
what Egypt says. Egypt says, know your goals and a financial planner will help you know how much money you need to achieve it.
Egypt sounds like she could be doing their job.
Egypt,
Very
I had
good.
another
Oh,
prize,
nice.
but you've won so many times. Egypt,
Very
if I
nice.
had another prize, though, I'd give it to you.
You still owe me a prize.
Yes, yes, I'll give you a prize.
And Joshua brought up
Uh,
something really good as well. Like, you know, especially for myself, I'm an entrepreneur and I make money through different means, right? Like I have more than one source of income. And Joshua says you can do things, you can sell things, you can perform something, you can compete, right? And those are definitely ways to help you earn something, especially if living in Toronto is very expensive. And if you want to be able to do certain things in Toronto, you have to make a certain amount of money. And if you're not, there are things you can do to help lift that income. So moving on, oops, I'll go back. So moving on as well, another thing we might need to see is a bank statement. So this is one from RBC. This is a sample. So like Susan sample, she lives on any street. But this is just, if you haven't seen one already, some of you may already have a bank account. Some of you, then if you haven't seen it, this is what it looks like. You can see a description of money that goes in under withdrawals, and you can see a description of the money, money that comes out under withdrawals and the money that goes in into deposits. Can anyone type in the chat and tell me how much money this person has in their bank account? You can find it under opening balance. Let's see what answers we get.
okay, it's kind of small. Let me move the thing closer to you.
$30.
Where are you looking?
Oh.
Opening balance.
So look under summary of your account for this period and you'll find the answer on the same line as opening balance on March 12th, 2004.
Good job, Egypt.
Very good, yes, yes.
Good job, Nicole.
Four-
Yeah,
$4,002.
$267.14.
And sorry, Joshua, I know it's a bit
Joshua,
small. I wish
it's super
I
tiny.
could
Look at
zoom
the
out.
bottom, Joshua. It says details of your account activity. Do you see it down there? This is good. You guys are gonna look and read, know how to read a budgeting statement, know how to read a bank statement. Can you see it now, Joshua? Can all the kiddies see it? Do you know where to find it? Details on the right-hand side, details of your account activity. And it says description, opening balance.
I think
There you go. Perfect, Joshua.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Good job, DJ.
So one thing I want to point out is that this person at the beginning of the period had $4,267. You'll see that total deposits into the account was $145. So they added an extra $145, but then they took out $727. So now the closing balance is lower than the starting balance, right? And that's natural. When you have bills, when you have expenses, you're going to spend money. But the whole point of going through the budget is to make sure that you're not spending more than you have. That means you're going into debt. And that can put you into a bad situation if you have too much debt than you can afford to pay.
Can you use your mouse, Mr. Michael, to show
Sure.
the balances that you're talking about?
So here is the opening balance. Here is the closing balance at $3,644. Right?
Can you see it?
Money
Can everybody see it? Yes.
going in, 145. Money going out, 727. So yeah, that's just one thing you want to keep in mind. It's okay to spend money. It's okay to have nice things and to treat yourself, but you want to make sure that you're not spending more than you're bringing in. Okay. Going forward, so this is an example of what an investment summary may look like. Some of you may have a registered education savings plan, right? So you can see here, and I'll move my mouse over, that they had, oops, net invested. So the money that they had going in was $52,492, right? There was a growth of money of 1,680, as well as 2,975, which gave them a higher balance of 55,467. Egypt just got a debit card, and so she can see how much money that she has in her account. So then you now hopefully can go back and look at your Scotiabank statement and see how much money is coming in and how much money is going out.
Congratulations, Egypt. That is so awesome. We
Very
encourage
good.
kids to get their own debit card and monitor your money. That is so awesome.
The earlier that you can begin to learn how to manage your money, the better. When I was 15, that was the first time I was beginning to get an allowance. It wasn't really an allowance, it was money to buy TTC tickets. So I would go get tickets and I'd have maybe like $2 or $3 left over. But sometimes I want to get that Skittles, I want to get that donut from Tim Hortons, and I'd have to, and I end up would not have enough money to get to school. Then I had to go back and ask my dad. Fortunately, he gave me extra money, but sometimes if you don't have parents to give you extra money, you have to be responsible and make sure that you're not spending more than is coming in. So that's pretty much what an investment statement would look like. And then also I talked about knowing what your annual salary is, right? And so here's an example. Whenever you work, some of you may be in a couple of years, be old enough to get your first job, official job. And so you can see here on the left what the regular rate is. They're getting paid $50 an hour and they're working $45 hours during the pay period. They did a little bit of overtime and this is their income. But then you see this is everything that's coming out. So even though they made $2,250 plus an extra $125, that's a total of $2,375. 3,000. There you go. But their deductions were quite a bit, right? So their deductions, you see there's $65 for Canada Pension Plan, $28 for employment insurance, taxes again, a little bit for life insurance, a little bit for savings. And so that $3,375 now becomes $1,294. Here's a question. Yes.
Yes, so we've talked about taxes on KiddieNomics, but we haven't talked about income tax and like federal taxes. So we will be covering that in the new year, everybody. We were going to do my first paycheck with Miss April. So that one's going to be moved to the new year. So we're going to get into what does that really look like and what all these numbers mean from Mr. Michael. So, because we haven't touched on it yet, Mr. Michael.
It's important because you'll be working for money if you do get a job. And then when you get your paycheck, it's like, where did all my money go? So this is some of the things that you will learn to know what actually happens. Okay.
So Elias would like to know, so if you're in debt and you can't pay the money back, what could they take from you?
Your house.
It depends on what you have. Maybe they might get a collector or a collections agent to call you and say, how can we get this money from you? And you might have to work out a payment plan to be able to pay that back. If you own a credit card, they could do the same thing, unless it's a lot of money. If it's like $500, $1,000, $5,000, they're not going to necessarily come to your home and take your belongings. But what may happen is that if you want to apply for future credit cards or get a home or try and get financing or get a loan for a vehicle, you may not qualify because you're going to have something called bad credit. So you always want to make sure that you can pay back anything that you borrow.
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Michael. Maddie, is this your question? Can you help people find jobs? Is that your question, Maddie? Can you answer that question, please, Mr. Michael?
That's not something I do as a financial advisor, but as part of the Canadian Association of Urban Financial Professionals, we did help people who were graduated from school and some students as well, university students, find jobs in the banks, in private companies, consulting companies. We worked with RBC, TD, CIBC, other companies as well, the consulting companies. So, but for kids your age, you would have to wait until you're the legal age, which is I think is 16 or 15, before you can find a job. It's not something I officially do, but if you're looking for a job, maybe I could talk to some of my colleagues and we could work with you.
Awesome.
Okay.
There's always the paper route. That was my first job at 11.
There you go. My first job was working at Roots Canada. I worked in a clothing store, making $7.20 an hour. The minimum wage now is $14. So you can imagine how much less money I was making back during that time. Okay. So we're about halfway done. We're almost done. I know we need to wrap up in a few more minutes, but just to kind of go on. So we talked about what a financial plan is. We talked about what goes into a financial plan. And now we're going to talk about why is a plan important. And you'll see the picture on the left is a kid drawing pictures, but they have lines, right? And we all know what happens if I ask you to draw a car or a house and you had no lines. Some people would be drawing, here there'd be some mistakes. When you have lines, when you have boundaries, it helps you to have a really nice outcome, right? These pictures look really good, right? And so when you have a financial plan, that adds boundaries to your finances. So you know that if I can only spend $100 on entertainment, I have to spend $300 on my car. I have to put $100 into savings. You know that you're staying within those lines and you're going to be on track. And the end result is you having a really good financial portfolio. Your finances are in good shape. Your credit is in good shape. You have money in the bank and you can hopefully afford to go on vacation, get yourself a gift, buy someone else a gift. You'll be able to enjoy life knowing that you're staying within those lines. So a financial plan can keep you focused. It can remind you of what you need to do when you need to do it. It can measure your progress towards your goals. And as your life changes, I talked about this, your plan can also change. All right. Awesome. So moving on to the next one. Now there's going to be a quiz. I know I've talked a lot and I've gotten you guys to answer some questions, but I want to know how well you paid attention. So DJ, I see your job as chores in school. I didn't know school was a job, but yes, school is definitely a job and you have to do it whenever your parents tell you have to do it. So, and Joshua is very excited to get a prize. So we'll talk about that. So my first question is, what is a financial plan? Can you type that in the chat?
No, what is a financial plan? Like, what's the definition?
It's where you set up people and I mean how people how I forgot.
Yeah, that's
So,
most of it. That's most of it.
she was trying to get there. I'm not going to help her, so she was almost there. Let me see here. Egypt says a financial plan helps you know how much money you need for the kind of life you want.
Yeah. Egypt is
Egypt. Maddie says,
advisor, yes.
Maddie says you set it up with your money. Good job, Maddie. Alicia says is when you set up what you want to do for your long-term goal. Good job. Coy says it's your future. Joshua says when you help clients with their money.
It's all of that.
With money. And Maddie says, oh, that's a good one.
I think I have mine, yeah.
What's yours?
You help people buy money. Save money.
You help people save money.
Those are all good answers, and those all cover what I do. So I prepare the document, or I prepare the plan, but then my clients, they bring everything, all the ingredients that I need. So they bring their finances, their financial statements, they bring their goals, or maybe we talk about what goals they want to do, and then we go from there. A financial plan is the details about your cash flow, savings, debt, investments, insurance. Excellent advice. That's really, answer. That's a really good answer. That's exactly what it is. So I think you guys have pretty much understood what a financial plan is, and that's fantastic. So my next question is, how does a financial plan work?
How does a financial plan work? Let's see. Egypt is always quick to answer.
Somebody was taking notes. Okay, Egypt. All right.
He's very good. Financial planning needs goals, two-way communication, commitment, and financial information,
No, that's
such as
amazing.
monthly budget, bank statements, investments, summarizes an annual salary. I'm so sorry.
Mommy,
No,
at this
it's
point,
good,
just
Egypt.
replace me. Just replace me.
No, it's very good. It's very good.
That's
Joshua says you need to know your clients with their money. Yes.
You have to know them
Yes.
well.
Yes. Mickey
Okay.
says you have to know them well.
Very good. And so what else can a financial plan do for you? Can someone give me an answer? Okay, Nikki, you raised your hand.
Help you with your business.
Helps
If you
you
have a
with your
business, absolutely. It's not just for people that work for a company. It also can be for people who have a company too.
Very good. Maddie says you talk to someone and you plan your money plans. Good job, Maddie.
Absolutely.
Egypt says financial planning will keep you focused, remind you what you need to do, and measure your progress. That's amazing, Egypt. Alicia says it works like when you want to buy a car, so you know how much money you need. Good job. Good job, Alicia. Maddie, it can get your house and other things. Yes, it can. Egypt, I'm being a teacher.
Let me just.
I'm being a teacher's pet. Let me just, you're funny. No, you're not.
Yes,
Okay, Maddie, you just say thank you. Joshua, you say it can help you with your wife, husband, have a good life and have lots of money. I love your answer. Good job. You guys are
Absolutely.
amazing.
There's a saying that says happy wife, happy life, and the same goes for a husband as well. Those are fantastic answers, guys. And that's exactly what it can do for you. And Egypt, there's no need to apologize, right? You know, one of the big things, especially for those who are working like my age, we're thinking about having families if you don't have one already, or thinking about our parents who are getting older and maybe they need medical attention, is we talk about money. And the more that you know is the more that you can help somebody else, right? So yes, you might work with a financial advisor, or maybe you might learn some things on your own, read some books, and then learn how to manage your finances yourself. But it's not just about you. Like if you have the knowledge, share it with other people, because then they can learn from you and they can get to be in the same place that you are. So Egypt, by all means, keep answering those questions. But everyone has really good answers so far. So we talked about what goes into a financial plan as well, which is great. The bank statements, the financial information, investment summaries, your goals and things like that. But the last question I want to ask you guys is, and we've kind of already talked about it already, but why is a financial plan important? Now I want to have some really good answers for this question.
All right.
Okay. Because it helps you, it helps other people, it helps you, and it helps you build a future where you are and where you want to go and where you will be.
Good job. Yay, high five for that one.
All right,
All
Nikki.
right. Did you hear that? I'm not sure.
All right, Joshua. Okay, no, do we have any new answers? Sorry, let me scroll down.
Yeah, Elias says financial planning helps you determine your short and long-term financial goals and create a balanced plan to meet those goals.
So
Yes,
good,
Elias,
Elias.
that's awesome. Yes. Egypt says the financial plan is important because it can make sure you don't go into debt. Love that. Maddie, so it can help you plan your future. Koi, so then you plan, Koi saying the same thing. So to help you plan your future. Alicia says, because it helps you with your money, how to spend it and how to save it. Yes, that is awesome. Joshua says, because you need, see, you guys are typing so fast, because you need to know how much money you're talking about. Yes, you do, right? Without a plan, you don't know where you're gonna go. Koi says, helps you with your future. DJ says, helps to save and build a future. Awesome. Joshua, and helps you with your life. Gabriel, welcome, Gabriel. Financial planning is like giving your future self money to help yourself. Good job. I love that one.
Absolutely, yes.
Joshua says to help you with your details about how much money you need. Look at these amazing answers.
You guys, I'm glad you guys are paying attention. Thank you. Makes me feel very good. Two things I wanted to talk about, and you guys hopefully you've been kind of following the news. You know that COVID is around. COVID is making the employment for a lot of people be not secure. But imagine that somebody were to buy a house or to buy a car, right? You can do it, but then what happens if you don't have a budget in place? You maybe won't know that, okay, I can afford my car payments, but maybe I can't buy as much food. Or maybe I can pay for the car and pay for insurance, but I forgot about gas. Maybe I need to go buy winter tires. What if I need to get into an accident? Like there's other things I need to go on. So definitely a financial advisor can help you not go into debt for sure. And definitely giving your future self money, that's very important. Not everybody's going to have a pension or money that their company or the government gives them, right? And sometimes you need to make sure that, okay, I can spend all my money now, but if I save some money now, I'll also have money down the road. And that's really important to making sure that you're thinking about the future for sure. Guys, those are really amazing. Everyone gave fantastic answers. I'm probably going to need Stacy to help me decide who should get a prize.
No, you gotta pick your winner. Pick your winner, Mr. Michael. No, I'm not saying no. Mr. Michael, you pick your winner.
You know what? Everybody gave a lot of good answers, and but I'm probably gonna have to go with Egypt. So Egypt, good job.
Egypt.
Good job. Everybody, I wish I had prizes for everybody. And I might have to talk to Stacy about doing something for everyone who had participated in the webinar, but Egypt for sure. We'll talk about what that prize will be at a later time. So
Egypt, I'll email your mom and let her know that you have a prize coming, okay? Don't worry, Joshua. There's still always next week to win a prize. Right?
I know, Joshua, that you're going to get a prize in the future for sure. So we're almost at the end of our time, but I just wanted to review very quickly what we covered. So number one, setting goals is important because goals will create those boundaries and those lines to make sure that you can get to where you need to be and stay within that framework. Working with your parents or your professional or with your friends like Egypt or Joshua or Gabriel, who gave really good answers, or Mandy or Alicia, everyone working with each other helps you plan your future better. Communication is key. You have to communicate what you want to do and when you want to get there, the time frame, and make sure that everyone who's involved in the process is aware, right? You can definitely, a financial plan can help you stay focused. And also, like I think it was Gabriel that mentioned, it'll help you enjoy your hard work in the future. So you can work hard now, save a lot now, so that you can live a good life. You can go to vacations, you can take care of your grandparents if you have grandparents, you can take your pet to a spa if you have pets, or take your nieces or nephews, whoever, give money to charities or give them to schools or community centers. But you have the option to do that, right? And a lot of what I do as a financial advisor is making sure that you have a choice. Some people don't have a choice to spend more money or to do what they want. And I want to make sure that you have a choice now and you have a choice down the road. Do we have any other questions?
Nope, we're pretty good.
Okay.
That is it. I think the kids are just congratulating Egypt, and I think that's okay.
Awesome. Okay, so you can find me on social media. I must admit, I'm not very active on social media. I am a bit old school, but for the new year, for 2021, I will be getting back into posting more things and taking more photos, but it's a bit hard when you can't get out and do things. And a lot of the pictures and posts I made were me going out into the community or me doing a seminar or me going to a networking event and things like that. But 2021 will be better. Right? You can also email me at michael@blackwellfinancial.ca. You can visit my website, which is blackwellfinancial.ca. And you can also give me a shout or give me a call if you ever have any questions. I think it was in one of the chats that somebody wanted to see if they can get a copy of my budget. By all means, I can make sure I can send that to Stacy, and if she can, then she can make sure that it's available for people to download.
Yes, I'll post it.
Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. I thank you guys so much for paying attention, for being engaged, being energetic, for giving me your answers, and hopefully I can do this again sometime in the future.
Yay, we would love that. Thank you very much, Mr. Michael. You did awesome.
Thanks. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now. So I can...
on. Yeah, If you stop sharing your screen, then I will take my 5 minutes to wrap up. Thank you, thank you. Let's go back to my screen. I'll take 5 more minutes to wrap up. Okay, so last question, as we always ask every KiddieNomics webinar, what would happen if kids became more financially literate? And our answer is
Real change that impacts the world.
Real change that impacts the world. And the reason is because if you guys are more financially literate, as you grow up into your adulthood, you'll make better sound decisions and choices that are just healthier for you and that will help you to be able to achieve the success that you're looking for, okay? So that's what financial literacy does for you. And that's why we wanted you to learn it at a young age, so that as you grow up and you start generating your own money and your own income and you're making life choices, you already know the foundations of what the skills that you need to make good decisions so that you can achieve whatever it is that we talked about goals, right? If it is to be a soccer player like Elias, or a basketball player, or a doctor, or whatever it is, a policeman, it doesn't matter what it is that you want to be. We just want to make sure that finances is something that doesn't hold you back and it propels you forward, right? Okay, so let's get into the schedule. The schedule is really short. So our last KiddieNomics for 2020 is next week. Can you guys believe it? Oh my goodness, the year has wrapped up so quickly. So next week we have Mr. Ryan Knight. He is going to be talking about grants. So as we've been on KiddieNomics, we have been talking about entrepreneurship. And for you kiddies that wanted to start your own businesses, which some of you have and have put plans together and what it is that you want to do, whether or not it's writing a book, and some of you have already written books and you're ready to publish them. And sometimes you need money, grant money, to help you start your business. And the grant money usually comes from like the government or some type of other source, right? So we're going to talk about that with Mr. Ryan Knight, and he's going to wrap up our 2020 year with KiddieNomics. So that's going to be super fun. And then on that last one, I'll wish you happy holidays. But don't worry, because we'll be back. KiddieNomics starts right back in January, Friday, January 8th, 2021. We'll be back with Mr. Tim Nash, and we're going to talk about good investing for kids. So we're going to go back into stocks. We're going to kick off the year with stocks. So we're going to have a 2-part series with Mr. Tim Nash. So that'll be January 8th and then January 15th. And then on the 21st, Maya's super happy. Ms. Jane will be back, and we're going to talk about having a positive attitude when you're in the workplace. So your attitude is your superpower for kids, and that will be on January 21st. And then we're going to have Mr. Bruce Sellery. He has a podcast. He's been on CBC. His podcast is Moolala. It's going to be, he's super fun and funny, and he talks the world of financial literacy, which is awesome.
And he speaks French too.
And he speaks French too. So we have been on his podcast. That was Mickey's first radio interview. That was super fun. And Mr. Bruce will now come on KiddieNomics, and we're going to talk about, the topic will be disclosed. So I'll have that topic coming up in the new year, okay? So that'll be Friday, January 29th. All right. So yes, I've had a few questions whether or not we're going to have KiddieNomics on Christmas and New Year's Day, because they both fall on a Friday. So as you can see, KiddieNomics ends next week on December the 4th, but we'll be back in January 8th. Okay, so that means you guys have a relaxing time for your Christmas break, right? Your holiday break. No KiddieNomics with us, although we find it super fun and we love having you guys on. So, but it just gives you a little bit of a break, and us too. And then we'll be back and refreshed for the new year. All right. And so let's talk over the holiday season. If you guys have any ideas, anything more that you guys want to talk about as the year progresses, can you please send me an email and let me know? Because our goal is to create tiny financial literacy ambassadors. That's what we want. We want you guys to learn this information that will not only help yourselves, but it will help your family, your friends, and your community. So Egypt, we want you to keep answering the questions, and we want everybody to spread the information and the knowledge that you've learned here on KiddieNomics, spread it to everybody else that you know. So when you hear something, you can say, no, that doesn't make any sense. This is what it actually is, right? That's what we want you guys to do. And that's what an ambassador does. An ambassador helps share the knowledge, right? So we want to create tiny financial literacy ambassadors. That's you guys. So thank you so much. But you can also please like and follow us on
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.
Maybe we'll get TikTok going over the holiday season. I don't know. This whole TikTok account has been open for months now. Yeah. We're going to post something before 2020 ends, hopefully, right? We'll see. Anyways, thank you. And please always use the hashtag KiddieNomics or Ask KiddieNomics so that we can answer your questions and know that you're contacting us, right? Anyways, thank you, Mr. Michael. You did an amazing job. KiddieNomics clap.
Thank you, everybody.
On. We look forward to having you back on in the new year. That would be amazing. And thank you everybody else for joining today. And don't forget that this webinar will be posted by 8 p.m. tonight. But otherwise than that, have a great weekend and bye.